Days later, Serial shares the story with the other students in a far-fetched way. As she continues to spread the story, Amy comes and finds out that her best friend is the one spreading the rumors. The students have mixed reactions to Amy and Chiron's dating rumors. Amy gets mad at Serial, but the latter is excited about this development. Serial claims this is better to keep other boys away, and Amy agrees. Days ago, That exclaimed that Amy doesn't have an interest in dating. However, Amy claims that she met Chiron when they were young. She then sweetly asks Chiron for a follow-up. Chiron worries, but Amy kicks her. Chiron then awkwardly confirms it. Amy finds this situation better than having their past exposed. Serial then reminds Amy that they will have an integrated class soon with Chiron's. She asks her if they will have a date after class, and Amy denies it. Amy is busy, and she is glad that Chiron is normally leading a normal school life. However, she realizes that this is not okay for her. During their integrated class, Serial calls out to Chiron and tries to tease the fake lovers. Amy is offended that Chiron looks like he doesn't want to be lovers with her. Amy then starts talking sweetly to Chiron, and Serial is shocked. However, Chiron tries to draw the line between a senior and a junior. Amy gets silent and turns around. Chiron goes to his seat and hears slanders around him, especially one about his inability to use magic. Chiron clenches his fist. The rumors that spread like wildfire become bad after everyone finds out that Chiron is a last placer in class. Some students claim Chiron has backing from his household and is trying to fish for a girl with a background. Everyone agrees and starts slandering the academy and Chiron. Chiron arrives in the classroom and notices how everyone acts. He doesn't want Amy to be affected, which is why he is trying to keep his distance. During practical class, Chiron can hear the thoughts of his classmates trying to stay away from him. Ithella approaches him and asks about his progress. Chiron claims he is having a hard time with the deviate form, and Ithella gives him advice. Chiron claims he doesn't have problems with his four forms. Ithella then tells him to practice it on the image zone. Chiron looks at the other students. Ithella wonders why Chiron is getting cautious around the other students. Chiron then agrees to do it and asks for Ithella's feedback. His classmates talk badly about Chiron as he steps into the image zone. However, Amy's class is excited about seeing Chiron's progress. Chiron starts with the defensive form, and Class 4 is impressed by it while making his classmates silent. Chiron quickly switches to other forms, and Ithella is impressed by his speed. Last is the deviate form, but Chiron has never been successful before. Class 5 sees him doing the deviant form and claims that Chiron must be on their level first. As Chiron works on it, he gets lightheaded. Just then, his own classmates start laughing and talking badly about him. Class 4 can see that his spirit zone is fluctuating. Chiron wonders why humans enjoy other people's failures. He recalls the depressing episodes he experienced. Just then, he hears his own voice reminding him that he is in school to become a mage. Chiron pulls himself together and strengthens his spirit zone again. Everyone is impressed except Chiron's classmates. Chiron then forces himself to complete the last form. Meanwhile, Sienna writes a report about the recent incident. She can't believe a student won against other students who were using anti-magic. She later learns from Ithella that Chiron was successful in doing the deviant form. She is impressed and claims she was not wrong about Chiron's talent. Days later, Sienna ends her lecture with Class 7 and calls Chiron. She informs him that he will advance to Class 5. His classmates wonder what kind of household is backing Chiron. Chiron's classmates started complaining about how Chiron skipped 2 classes when he doesn't know magic commands. Sienna asks if it is true. Chiron sweats as his classmates look at him ominously. He confirms that he can perform magic, but Sienna still believes that it is fine. Another student claims that this is discrimination and claims that the spirit zone is not everything. They continue pouring out complaints, and Sienna claims to talk about this in a meeting first. Sienna feels that there is something more to the class objections. Just then, a student named Maria approaches her to explain some things. Maria then starts speaking out about her classmates' bullying acts toward Chiron. Sienna thanks the crying Maria for the information. That night, Chiron is out late in the library studying. He leaves the library as he recalls Temirin's advice to endure everything until it comes to an end. Chiron wants to overcome everything for the sake of the people who believed in him. He swears to be a mage. After taking a bath, Chiron hears someone knocking on his door. He thinks it is one of his classmates, but it turns out to be Sienna. She comes into Chiron's room to talk about something. He now realizes why Chiron got strangely aligned scores. It is because he is trying to remember everything at once and studies for the present, not the future. She wonders why he didn't learn everything when he was younger. Chiron acts shy, and Sienna is surprised by Chiron's change in character outside class. Sienna then starts asking about the bullying, but Chiron claims that he is fine. She asks if he despises his classmates. Chiron confirms it and claims that he is human too. However, even if the whole class thinks wrong of him, he knows there are other people out there who understand him. Sienna nods in agreement. The faculty meeting comes, and Sienna presents her documents to the other professors. They can't believe that a whole class is bullying one student. A teacher suggests advancing Chiron quickly, and Sienna is relieved to hear that. However, Thad disagrees, and Alpheus asks for his reason. Thad points out Chiron's inability to use magic and agrees with the other students' complaints. He also finds Sienna's favor over Chiron an issue. He claims that favoring one genius will deprive the other students' will to study. Sienna exclaims that they shouldn't stand in the way of a genius' development. The two continue arguing, and the others are already tired of their bickering every day. Alpheus stops them and agrees that both sides have a point. Alpheus agrees with not favoring one student and suggests something instead. The next day, students flock over to the announcement board. An early advancement exam is announced for the whole class, and they can skip 2 classes. However, they need to perform teleportation. Class 7 students panic over it and conclude that they won't pass the test. Just then, Chiron appeared as the students moved aside and also saw the announcement. The rumors about Chiron spread quickly, and soon students from other classes were aware of the bullying Chiron was facing because of his relationship with Amy. Amy realized that Chiron was ignoring her on purpose because of the rumors, and this infuriated her. Sariel tried to calm Amy down and reminded her that Chiron didn't want to involve the person he loved in his problems. Amy stopped and started daydreaming. The two knew how difficult it was to learn teleportation, and Sariel suggested teaching Chiron how to do it. Amy reminded Sariel that they also had exams to study for, and she claimed that Chiron didn't deserve her if he couldn't do even that much for her. Late that night, Artsundra heroine Amy snuck into the boys' dorm and surprised Chiron at his window. Amy quickly pinned her boyfriend down, but that was just her imagination. She discovered instructor Sienna alone with Chiron in his room. The teacher was furious with Amy for sneaking into Chiron's room and couldn't believe the couple were meeting every night in secret. While wondering why Sienna was also there, Chiron served Amy some tea. However, Amy remembered her reason for meeting Chiron. Sienna calmed her down first. Chiron was perplexed as to how he had gotten himself into this situation. Amy began to complain about the exam, but Sienna insisted that the headmaster had a plan. Amy explained how dangerous teleportation is. According to their lessons, it uses the same concept as photonize, but faster than the speed of light. Basically, you need to turn your body into light. Sienna explained the different levels, and Chiron realized that it might cause some collisions. As the teacher and student talked, Amy wondered how the two had become close, knowing that Sienna was unfriendly. Amy interrupted the conversation to explain that the school had prepared a dangerous exam site in midair. Chiron realized that the students would have to race from one peak to another using teleportation. Sienna was not sure about the details, but she knew that there would be safety devices to prevent students from dying. Amy was worried that Chiron would be an easy target, and Chiron hated the thought of facing the whole class alone. Sienna apologized that she could not help Chiron more, but she offered to personally tutor him every day. Amy then offered to tutor Chiron herself, but Sienna was worried that it would interfere with her own promotion exam. Chiron was surprised. The advanced class is everyone's goal, and you can get fame and more knowledge. However, once you get in there, you kiss goodbye to your leisure school days because of the hellish training. Chiron wondered why Amy was in a hurry. He didn't know that he was the reason all along since he was catching up too fast on Amy. However, Chiron misunderstood Amy's action and now sees her in a different light. Sienna insisted on teaching Chiron instead, but Amy doesn't want to lose. She then asked Chiron who he would choose as his teacher. Amy insisted on choosing her because she is his girlfriend. However, Chiron surprised them by confessing that he would do it on his own. Chiron doesn't want to bother anyone because of his own problem. While Amy was scolding him, Chiron claimed that he knew why Amy was aiming for the advanced class. He also asked Sienna to put some trust in him, and the teacher agreed. As Sienna told Chiron to approach her with any questions, she didn't forget to warn Amy about sneaking into Chiron's room. Amy let out a deep sigh and realized that she was now alone with Chiron. Amy then stood up to leave. As she leaves, she wonders why Chiron didn't get her involved and awkwardly wonders if it hurts Chiron's pride to depend on his girlfriend. Chiron did agree, and that caught Amy off guard. However, she misunderstood it, as Chiron claimed that Amy was her goal as a senior mage. Ever since he came to the academy, she has been Chiron's goal. Chiron also doesn't want to make things more awkward between them. Amy then recalled a scene she didn't want to remember. She then got mad at Chiron for making up reasons, calling her a senior. Amy then wears her robe and orders Chiron to stop calling her senior. Of course, Chiron was shocked to see the haughty brat trying to be chummy with him. He didn't hesitate to call Amy Amy without honorifics. Flustered, Amy looked back to Chiron, who claimed that he would catch up to her in no time. Amy smirked and warned Chiron that she would graduate during that time. Chiron wanted to do things alone from the start to keep the bully's attention on himself. The countdown for the teleportation now starts. The next day, other students couldn't believe students applied for the teleportation exam, where the application of omniscience and omnipotence parts are hard. They then see Chiron walking with a pile of books, mainly about photonization theories. Chiron can study the logic on his own, but the application is his problem. The environment is a factor in teleportation, and one must fine-tune the omnipotence part and do some calculations. Chiron tried to cheer himself up, but he knows that he is at a disadvantage since the others have learned magic since they were kids. He wonders if he can close that gap. Just then, he realized something. The headmaster had given him the answer already. Meanwhile, another student is training in teleportation, with great results. His butler commended him for being the son of Sir Slider, the advisor for the Magic Association. Mark claimed that it was because he had a great tutor and that it was simple. The butler claimed it is impossible to master teleportation in a month, but learning the required portion for the exam will help Mark finish the course. Mark is confident since he has already advanced 2 levels. He then wondered what Chiron was doing and learned that our protagonist was only reading books. Mark thought Chiron would use his connections. He asked his butler to continue monitoring Chiron and claimed that Chiron wouldn't pass the exam by just reading books. Chiron put down his pen as he realized that he had the essential theories drilled into his mind. That night, Chiron went to Class 7's training grounds. He hopes things will work out as he planned. He then starts by grafting the photonization theory into his spirit zone. He knew the person blocking the path between omniscience and omnipotence was none other than himself. He planned to remove himself in between. Just then, the magic activates, and Chiron's body glows. He must use teleportation now, but he recalled that no human can calculate the speed of light. He then recalled the headmaster's words that a skilled mage can sense almost everything around him. That is what they call the extremely sensitive mindset, spirit zone. In that way, a mage can control the phenomena around him. Don't calculate the values. Sense everything all at once. Chiron then glows brighter than ever and activates teleportation. There are only 9 days before the exam, and students noticed how beaten up Chiron is. Chiron's attempts at teleportation so far have all been failures. 8 days remain, and Chiron is still trying to calculate things. More days passed by, and he kept failing, but he made sure that his body remembered the feeling. 1 more day is left, and Chiron has kept getting errors on top of errors for the past few days. He suddenly had an anxiety attack, and he slapped himself to calm down. He tries teleportation once more with a shout. An array of light travels through the training grounds. Chiron suddenly stops and falls flat to the ground. He finally did it, but he worries that he can't get far. He wanted to practice more, but the tiredness made him fall unconscious. The morning comes, and another exam taker, Mark, is ready to advance his class. He later approached Maria, wondering if she had given up on the exam. Maria tries to escape after wishing Mark luck, but Mark mentions how Maria snitched on a teacher. Maria got flustered, but Mark was only trying to see her reactions. Seeing that it was true, Mark then threatened Maria to watch her back once he became a senior. Maria's expression darkens. Mark can't believe someone like Maria wanted to be a mage. Mark leaves laughing, leaving the scared Maria on the floor. Mark then meets his crew, who plan to attack Chiron during the exam. Mark wanted to end Chiron's exam in a few turns and assured everyone that he would do as he promised everyone, a private tutor for each one of them. His father is from the Magic Association, so he should be able to pull some strings for them. Students then flock to the examination site. There are a lot of observers, especially the boys from Class 5 who wanted a cute girl to advance to their class. The headmaster is also present for the exam as a judge. A bright light suddenly appears, indicating the start of the exam. The exam makes me nervous. Why? They claim that there is a bridge for the exam, but the bridge is only composed of ropes. Meanwhile, Serial found the best spot to watch with Amy. Amy claims it is useless to watch a lower class exam, but she is dead worried for Chiron. On the other hand, Mark received a report that Chiron was missing. Speaking of the devil, Chiron just woke up after being unconscious on the training grounds. Amy panicked as she kept looking for her boyfriend. She then realized that Chiron had messed up with his self-study. The exam takers gather in front of the cliff, and the rule is simple. The person who can teleport the farthest wins. Everyone is scared since they know they won't be able to reach the other side, and there is no choice but to fall down afterward. Another teacher suggests giving up if they are scared and reminds them that being in the academy means risking one's life to study as a mage. He asks them to turn back if they don't have the resolution yet. He is doing his best to scare everyone to prevent unnecessary accidents. However, he can see a group that is raring to fight others in their way. Seeing that Chiron is not present, Mark thinks that Chiron failed his self-study. Ithella then announces the start of the exam. Just then, she notices someone running through the woods. Chiron runs with all of his might and apologizes while wondering if he can still partake in the exam. The girlfriend is enraged that her boyfriend arrived just now. Seeing Chiron's injuries, she worries that he had been practicing without safety equipment. Sienna reported to the headmaster that Ithella asked to delay the exam since a student was late. However, the headmaster wants the test to begin as scheduled. Ithella then officially announced the test with a signal and advised Chiron to give up if he couldn't move forward. Another student leads Chiron in his position. Chiron got in between Mark's lackeys, who planned to attack him. Chiron tries to focus as Ithella starts the race's countdown. The timer is ready, and the students are prepared to go. Chiron looks forward, and the race begins. Everyone shouts at the top of their lungs while running. Two students immediately sandwich Chiron and plan to attack him. Students do their best to get in front of everyone else. Mark laughs at them since being in front won't guarantee their win. What is important is getting your timing right and pulling teleportation turns as much as you can. The leading student is almost at the edge of the cliff and has used photon eyes. He goes off, and the others in front follow him. The others only reached 3 meters and failed to go on. Mark got anxious that his guards were now down. As he got near the cliff, he anxiously wondered what would happen if he failed. He then used photon eyes upon reaching the edge. Meanwhile, Mark's remaining lackeys can't believe Chiron is still running despite being in tatters. Only the 3 of them are left as they get near the edge. The 2 lackeys didn't have a choice but to use photon eyes and leave Chiron alone. Chiron is trying to find the perfect timing. He puts strength into his last step, and the onlookers watched him jump off the cliff without using photon eyes. Damn, this is the longest 4 seconds ever. In a flashback, Rian commented on how brave Chiron was in front of his father. He wondered how Chiron couldn't feel fear. Chiron claimed that fear is just based on imagination. Based on the book that he had read, imagination shapes what will happen in the future. When you jump off a cliff, you won't face death until you hit the ground. That's why you need to focus on the present, and you will be able to see the solution. Ryan called Chiron stupid and made it clear that a person dies once they fall off a cliff. Back to the present, everyone can see Chiron pulling off a stupid stunt. While in midair, he activates photon eyes, and he tries his best to stay conscious so his spirit zone won't break. For a millisecond, he successfully uses photon eyes and passes by everyone in the front pack. Everyone got startled, including Mark, who wondered how late Chiron jumped off the cliff. The audience cheers as they see the exam takers using photon eyes from a distance. However, the keen eyes of Class 5 notice Chiron's dangerous move. Depending on what she can see, Amy knows that Chiron can be first if he is consistent with his routine. Mark curses as he continues doing his photon eyes turns. Chiron passes by him again, and everyone cheers from afar. Meanwhile, Maria walks in the nearby woods as she recalls being berated for having bad grades. She didn't like competitions in the first place, but she also hated being bullied. She can't have Mark promoted before her. After the third turn, the exam takers are divided into 3 groups. The front group led by Chiron and Mark, the middle group, which is 3 meters behind the first group, and the last group, which used magic the earliest because they were scared. Everyone in the last group lost their magic and fell while shouting that they gave up on the exam. The judges can't help but laugh as they score the students. The failed students continued falling to their deaths until a safety device was activated and saved them with wind magic. They can't believe the instructors and upperclassmen were bullying them all along. At 200 meters, students from the middle group start falling like flies. Mark continued moving forward and called the others stupid for trying. His only problem right now is Chiron, who keeps putting distance between them. He can't believe a person who looked dead before the exam started is not getting tired during the race at all. Just then, Chiron created more distance with 1 photon. Ethela commented on how talented Chiron is. She noticed how Chiron kept using compulsion repeatedly, like a precise machine. The judges also noticed how Mark's routine was destabilizing since he was rushing himself is bound to fall soon. Headmaster Alpheus sits there silently, smiling while watching. Sariel wondered how Chiron learned an advanced skill like compulsion. Amy watches with seriousness and wonders how Chiron does it differently from the norm of converting subconsciousness to consciousness. She knows that it is something that can't be learned. Mark could already feel his limits and ordered his lackeys to start their plan. The 2 lackeys are worried that it will be obvious now since there are only fewer of them to watch. One of the lackeys decided to use his remaining mental power and quickly made small turns using photon eyes. Chiron sensed that someone had broken their routine based on the noise. He suddenly noticed someone in front of him, blocking his way. He got startled as his routine got disrupted and used photon eyes in a different direction. Thinking about his future, the student can only feel apologetic as he tried to charge toward Chiron. Chiron realized that he was being targeted on purpose. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe. If you want to see a part 5 of this recap, let us know in the comments section below. Till next time.